got 25 minutes. We got to go.
Happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
Happy
Hump
Wednesday,
day,
guys.
the day in between the week.
The rest of the week. You're almost there.
We're almost there. Everything else down here is right after today is Friday Junior, and I love Friday Juniors. Well, if this is the first time that you're with us, welcome to Say That channel, where we are unapologetic about talking about the ugly come up. So we all have heard of these amazing entrepreneurs, business people who start from nothing and then have massive success. Well, what happens in the middle? What happens during that ugly come up? We are here for all of that. So I'm excited for today. And so the other thing, so we have a topic and we have 25 minutes to answer the question, to answer the topic.
Oh man, you can tell she's excited, guys.
Yes. I think this is going to be a really good one.
No, that's going to be a great one. All right, so let's jump into it. Today's topic or question is,
how do you find your why? This is so important for people who are entrepreneurs and business people. Winston and I were just having a conversation right before we press play, and there's press record live. And this idea of like doing things that are part of your business that you don't really like doing. But if you don't have a strong why, like you will stop doing the thing that you love doing, or you won't pursue your calling or your purpose in life, because your why for why you're doing it, for why you're doing the thing that you're doing is like unknown or nebulous.
Yeah.
A really strong understanding of why you're doing what you're doing. What is the calling? What is the purpose? Then you'll get through I really don't like doing this part of my calling, but you know what? Yeah. It's like a means to an end. I'll do the thing. I'll figure it out. I'll find a way, So.
All right. And then, so for those who may be new to the conversation, what is your why? Your why is a statement of purpose that describes why you do the work you do and why you live the lifestyle you do. It is your calling and it is your conviction. I love the way Janelle broke it down as well.
Yeah, this is awesome. So when I think there's a twofer, right? There's some people who just do their business just to make money, right? It's the thing that just like gives them a living wage, so that way they can pay their bills, take care of their family, et cetera, right? And I think because they don't have their purpose or their calling, or this business doesn't serve their purpose or their calling, their why is probably pretty weak, and it can make the business like a punishment.
Sure.
Torturous. Yeah, like all of that, right? This thing that's on your back, that you're carrying, like it's really heavy. But when you have a why, like why you're doing what you're doing, it typically, just like that definition Winston had to pop up, typically leans into your purpose and your calling. And then when that's clear, if your business is if your business lines up with your calling and your purpose, then I feel like it will get you through the long haul. You'll stay persistent. You'll go through whatever the challenge is, and
you'll persevere.
Yeah, exactly.
But then to look at the question, guys, how do you find your why?
Yeah.
That's
the key.
Yeah, and to me, it is it can be challenging. Because like Janelle said, if you look at your business and you're, focusing on a lot of the obstacles that are presented to you, then it may not make sense to continue. And so understanding your why, or making sure that you have one, will, to Janelle's point, push you through and help you, get through those times where things are challenging, because you're gonna face that in almost anything that you're gonna be building.
100%. So I know that when we were building teams, I think finding your why was like number one. We had to figure out why people were doing the network marketing business that we were doing. Yeah. I think no matter what network marketing company, you're going to find that. I think if you're a broker in any phase, right? So real estate broker, mortgage broker,
stock broker, yeah,
like you need to, if you're like bringing on a team, if you're building teams and building franchises and that stuff, you need to know your why. You need to make sure the people that you bring on also know their why. Otherwise, you're probably going to have a lot of people who just come in and out, right? And that's not going to make for a long-lasting system. So I feel like this is really, really important. And people struggle with this. People really struggle with figuring out how they can find their why. So as we've been doing, we've got someone in the queue, in the
I love it.
who's gonna really like help us through this. We've had Simon Sinek. We've listened to him before. Again, couldn't think of a better person to talk about this than Simon Sinek, because he, in fact, is the most known for his book and the TED Talk called Start With Why. And he essentially illustrates why starting any business or movement or entity with your why it's so important. And so him being the one teaching us and illustrating how we can find our own whys, I think he's like the perfect person.
Absolutely. All right, let's jump into it.
All right.
So no one decides what their why is. Mm-hmm. Your why is inside you. And if you choose to go on the journey of discovery, and you're able to put that why into words, so the thing that drives your gut, like there's no part of your stomach that makes decisions, right? You know, your gut feeling comes from somewhere, and it is this deep-seated purpose, cause, or belief that we all have because we're all products of our upbringing, and you are who you are. And so for me, it wasn't a question of deciding on it, but it was discovering it, and not uncommon. You can go through a process of discovery because you just decide you want to, or you can very often struggle reveals your why to you. I think that's probably very much your case as well. You know, you had to hit the bottom before you realized who you were. I had to face what I thought was bankruptcy. I had to face collapse. I had to face humiliation to discover what my cause was. And I think you probably share this as well, which is I couldn't have done it alone. And it took a friend coming to me in this very dark place that I spent all of my energy pretending that I was happy, more successful, and more in control than I really felt. And lying, hiding, and faking is exhausting. And it took a friend to say, something's not right. Even I was so good at it, even my family didn't recognize it. Mm-hmm. But this friend did, and I came clean. And all of the energy that was going into lying, hiding, and faking went into rediscovering passion. And it wasn't the discovering of my why that set me on the path. It was the discovering of my why and then wanting desperately to share it with my friends, because I love my friends and I want them to have what I found. And they started making crazy life changes and making these huge decisions with total confidence. And they would invite me to their homes to share it with their friends. And I would literally stand in someone's living room talking about this thing called the why. And that's what ignited the spark, that I realized that I had something to give. And you discover service. I mean, this is what a life of service means, which is, the reason, people keep talking about, or we're told you have a gift. Well, the very definition of a gift is it's supposed to be given. And I think that if you have a gift and you're not sharing it, I think you're just selfish.
Hello? There's
Oh my God. I never knew that story.
I never knew that. That's what I was thinking. I was like, that was super interesting. Didn't know that story. Wow. What's fascinating to me is that and then it turned into a living room presentation.
That's exactly the same. I was like, this guy was doing network marketing.
Yes. He's doing network marketing, and his product is helping people figure out their why.
And he sells products the same way.
Yeah.
Books, and he does and speaks, and wow, that's amazing.
That is really, really interesting. Okay, so what I took from what he said also, if you're thinking okay, but did he detail out how do you find your why? Yeah. I think it was the passion and it's the service. Absolutely. Something about bringing, wanting whatever it is, and to be able to give it to others. I mean, he said his loved ones are his friends, but I think something about that is really where he was that there it is. It's the being of service to
others.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm sorry, guys. So for me, it's listening to him explain that story literally reminded me of network marketing. Being in a place in your life where you're absolutely broken, things are not going the way you are. You actually are having to connect with friends about life not being the way it really is, because you're kind of faking it as you go through life, but things are really bad, and somehow you found this thing, and you think through this whatever vehicle you can have a different. It was literally blowing my mind just now. Oh, you see, it's amazing.
Same. I was doing a similar like network marketing.
It was so reminiscent to how network marketing businesses are started and built, and how you get involved with a lot of them. They literally cast a vision of a different life. But to his point, his way of going into it, because he connected with his why initially, because I don't know if many of us get that opportunity that first night to really build out that why, you know what I mean? To really open up about what it is and why we're building this thing.
Yeah.
And why you want to build this thing.
Right. And his belief in it too. Like once he found it, like nobody was taking him off that path. Like he's like, no, this is it. Right. Yeah. Sorry. I'm looking at some of the comments. So like Jeannie brought up struggles reveal your why to you. Like, I think that was a part of it. Like if he didn't have the struggle, he would have been living the same life as before. Like, oh, everything's fine. This is the thing that I'm doing, knowing that really wasn't bringing him any fulfillment. He literally needed to go through a ton of struggles in order to get to the place where he was like,
to find his real self.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, they say, well, I don't know if the adage is correct, but it's like when your back is against the wall, you know, a man, it will reveal himself, things like that. It's to the point like Janelle talked about last week about leaving, you know, finding money and how she would react to it. It's indicative of probably how you would respond in, you know, different instances. So I think it's very interesting. You want to jump into the next one?
Sure. Real quick though, I just also want to bring up something else that Ginny said. If you have a gift and you're not sharing it, that's selfish. I think that's a really interesting way of him framing it as well. Because your gift is meant to be shared with others. It isn't meant to like stay to yourself. So I really love that he said that too. But okay, yes, I am ready. Let's go to the next part. He continues on.
Commenting.
I can tell you a fun way. Some of you may know about it. It's called the friends exercise, which is really fun, which is go to a friend who you love and who loves you. The kind of friend that if you called them at 3:00 in the morning, you know they would take your call.
Oh my God.
And if they called you, you would absolutely be there for them. Do not do this with a sibling. Do not do this with a parent, and do not do this with a spouse. It doesn't work because they think they know you. Go to a friend and who you love and ask them this very simple question: why are we friends?
Oh.
And they're going to look at you like you're crazy because you're asking them to put into words a feeling, and the part of the brain that controls our emotions doesn't control language, so we struggle. And ironically, you actually stop asking the question why, because the question why elicits emotional responses, and you convert to a rational question. Come on, you'll say, what specifically is it about me that I know that you would be there for me no matter what? And they will struggle, and they will hem and haw, and they go, I don't know, and they'll start describing you. You're trustworthy, you're funny, you're always there for me. And you have to play devil's advocate. And you go, great, that's the definition of a friend. What specifically is it about me that I know you'd be there for me no matter what? And they're going to go through a few rounds of this. You cannot help them. You cannot let anybody else help them. You have to let them go through the stress. And eventually, after a bunch of rounds, they will give up and they will stop describing you. And they will start talking about themselves. And my friends said to me, Simon, I don't know. All I know is I don't even have to talk to you. I can just sit in a room with you and I feel inspired. And I got goosebumps. In fact, I'm getting them right now. And that's because they put into words something that is deep inside of me. And you're there when you have the emotional response to what they're describing about themselves. You will well up, you will have goosebumps, something will happen. And if you do this with multiple friends, you will get similar, if not the exact same answer, because the thing you give to the world, your why, is the reason they love you. It's the thing they want in their life that fills that missing gap that they don't have, which is why we're not friends with everyone. So it's a wonderful, wonderful way to find your why.
Are you?
Wow, that is, oh my God.
Holy cow.
Oh
Like
my God.
that man delivered. I'm sorry. I still have something going on here and I'm not sure where, okay, got it. That wow.
Wow. I
Wow.
completely agree. This is very interesting.
Wow. First of all, the 3 a.m. friend, because again, in network marketing, we've done that.
That is who you'd ask. That's the
Who's your 3 in the morning
that's your,
friend?
yeah,
You gotta move a body.
that's your top 10 right there.
My God. So that number one, I was like, freaked me out. But the question that they ask, why are we friends?
But Janelle, think about if we took that same top 10 list and that's what you called and asked,
Yeah.
instead of trying to pitch,
Yeah.
you literally ask somebody, why are we friends? Hey, I know we
Yeah.
haven't talked in a while, blah, blah, but what, why are we friends? And
Yeah.
to his point, let them go through that. And if they're busy, just be like, all right, we can do this another time.
Yeah.
But
They can reconvene.
that's a great, especially with your top 10 list when you first get in, those people would make the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
They would make the time. And sorry, I also love, to your point about the struggle, but I love how like it turns into, well, this is how I feel. And then like
You start to get the,
so profound. And then you know it because your body literally reacts to what they say. So you know it to be true. And then in that moment, it's like you've figured out like, this is my why. This is my calling. This is my purpose. This is also why I'm not friends with like the entire
everyone. That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. You aren't friends with everyone. You see a lot of people, but it's not everyone that you're friends with.
This is so profound. I don't know.
Even associates. Yeah.
I want to like try this experiment immediately.
No, seriously. Guys, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Man, that was really good.
That was so good. And and I just have to imagine that like after you go through this exercise with your friends, your outlook on life must be like completely different, right? Like I've heard a quote that says you have two lives and the second one begins the moment you figure out what your calling or your purpose is.
Yeah. Ooh, I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Which makes so much sense. Because right now, a lot of people, I'm sure you may relate to this, you feel like you're just kind of going through the motions. I mean, even if, not to say that you may have goals, things that you're work, but there may still be, like, to your point, superficial things that are just to provide for the lifestyle that you have and responsibilities that you have to do. But to the point of knowing, or finding a reason to be here, that's a different type of living.
Different. Man. It's so funny. And I love the example that he gave, that the one friend was like, I don't know, Simon, like, I just know when I'm in a room with you, like, I just get inspired. And I'm thinking to myself, like, that's it. Like, I'm not even in a room with Simon. And like, I feel like I got inspired by his TED Talk. I've read 2 of his books now. He continues to be inspiring.
No, absolutely. And what's interesting is, guys, we've done episodes on this type of question, a variation in some sense about the why. And it's so amazing to still at this point have an opportunity to learn something new. You know what I mean? Or to have a deeper, maybe even understanding of it. Absolutely powerful.
So powerful. Look, guys, if you know anyone, if there's anyone in your life you feel like is struggling with their purpose, the calling, why they're here, whatever that is, share this video with them. Like, send them this video immediately. If they're like, I mean, like, that's how I'm feeling about this right now. I almost feel like the person who needs to be standing in the living rooms telling people, like, if you're struggling with this, please watch this video.
Oh man, this is really good.
I mean, like, I know we normally have 25 minutes to answer the question, but I almost feel like there's nothing left to be said.
Say
watch
that.
the video, do the exercise, and then let's have a conversation. Like, I want a part 2 of this conversation, which is like, okay, let's come back after we've done it.
Absolutely.
And the people out there watching, you've done it too, and then we all come back together and
see what we've taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So profound. Wow.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure you like, share, like Janelle said, share the comments, subscribe to the channel if this is your first time checking us out, if you like what you see. And definitely make sure you check out other episodes of us live on Wednesday and our Monday rundowns, which are absolutely taking over right now. Having a lot of fun there.
Love the Monday rundown.
Absolutely. So until we see you guys next time, as always, remember, you deserve the good life.
Say that.
We'll see you guys.